Imagine. You wake up. You have been taken from your home. You're standing in the middle of a bone-chilling cold. There are men in white coats standing over you. You call them doctors. You think they are there to heal you, but you're wrong, because this is not a hospital. This is a factory of death, and the experiments conducted here were not done by the Nazis. They were done in the depths of Asia, by the Japanese Empire. There were no humans here. There were only materials. Welcome to Unit 731. If you walked past this building in 1940, you would never guess the horrors inside. The sign on the door read, Epidemic Prevention and Water Purification Department. What a cruel irony. A place named Prevention was actually built to create the deadliest plagues in history. And where did they find their test subjects? Criminals? Murderers? No, they kidnapped innocent Chinese villagers, pregnant women, and Russian soldiers. But they didn't call them by their names. They called them Maruta, which means logs, because logs can be burned. Logs can be cut, and when a log is in pain, it does not scream. The commander of the unit, Dr. Shiro Ishii, had no limits. His first obsession was the cold. Manchurian winters are brutal, reaching minus 40 degrees. The doctors wanted to know exactly how much the human body could endure. They dragged prisoners out into the freezing snow. They soaked their arms and legs in water again and again until their limbs turned into solid blocks of ice. Do you know how they checked if the freezing was complete? They hit the arm with a small stick. If it made a sound, a hollow thud, just like hitting a piece of wood, then the process was done. There was no treatment. Only pain. But the freezing experiments were just the beginning. The real nightmare started on the operating table. Dr. Ishii had a strict rule: no anesthesia. He believed that anesthesia would alter the data. He wanted pure results. So the victims were fully awake. They felt everything. They saw everything. They opened up living bodies, removed organs, and observed the final moments of life. Pregnant women, children, the elderly, none of them left that table in one piece. But cold wasn't the only tool they used. They also wanted to know what happens to a human pilot at high altitudes. So, they placed victims into a vacuum chamber and slowly sucked the air out. As the pressure dropped, the victims' eyes began to bulge out of their sockets. Their intestines began to expand inside their bodies. Witnesses described the scene as horrific, until the victim simply exploded from the inside out. They filmed it all, frame by frame. Ishii's dream was not just to kill individuals. He wanted to kill millions. So they developed special porcelain bombs. These were not filled with explosives. They were filled with millions of plague-infected fleas. They dropped these bombs over innocent villages. The children thought it was snow, but days later, their skin turned black. They started vomiting blood. The Black Death had returned. When the war ended in 1945, the Japanese panicked. Ishii gave the order: destroy the facility, burn the evidence, dispose of the remaining logs. The facility was blown up, but the real monsters managed to escape. Perhaps the cruelest experiment was not physical, but psychological. They called it the mother's love. They placed a mother and her baby in a closed room and began to heat the floor. They wanted to see, Would the mother step on her own baby to save herself from the burning floor? Or would she protect her child until the end? The results of this experiment are too disturbing to describe in detail. But it proved that in Unit 731, there was no room for humanity, not even for a mother's love. When the order came to destroy the facility in 1945, chaos erupted. They blew up the buildings, but they couldn't kill everything. Thousands of plague-infected rats, which were bred for the bombs, escaped into the surrounding countryside. Even years after the unit was gone, mysterious outbreaks of the plague continued to kill innocent villagers in the region. The ghosts of Unit 731 continued to haunt the land. When the war ended, the world watched the Nazis being judged at Nuremberg. Everyone expected the same justice for Unit 731, but when the Americans found Shiro Ishii, they didn't put him in handcuffs. Instead, they offered him a deal, a secret, dirty deal. America said, "Give us all your data on biological weapons, and we will give you immunity." You heard that right? In exchange for the research data gained from torturing thousands of innocent people, America let these monsters walk free. Shiro Ishii never spent a day in prison. He died peacefully at home at the age of 67. Other doctors from the unit went on to become executives in pharmaceutical companies. They won medical awards. Today, many of the treatments for frostbite found in modern medical books are based on the suffering of those nameless victims. They have no graves, but their pain is hidden in the foundations of modern medicine. History is written by the victors, but sometimes it is hidden by the silent. Do not forget them. Subscribe for more files from the frontier.